If you don't watch this video all the way to the end, it's because you're racist. Has my skin color disadvantaged me in America? I don't generally talk political stuff on my channel or anything deep like this. I like to keep it fun and weird and stupid. I just figured, you know, I'd share my experience. You know what they say, hashtag black voices heard. So maybe hopefully my voice will get heard at least to some extent. Unless of course you're racist and you click off this video. I know some of y'all click away after 1 minute, okay? I can see that in my audience retention on my analytics. It hurts my feelings. For those of you who don't know, I did not grow up in America. I spent the first 19 years of my life growing up in East Africa, specifically Kenya and Tanzania. My late father was a black man from Tanzania, and my mother is a white woman from Indiana. So I'm mixed, biracial. My parents lived and worked in Tanzania, and so essentially we were expats. My father was a Tanzanian citizen, but my mother, she's American, and us children were also given U.S. citizenship even though we were born abroad, outside of the United States. U.S. citizens born abroad. I don't want to spend too much time talking about my life in East Africa because that's its own video. I just want to talk about, has my skin color disadvantaged me in America? So when did I move to America officially as an adult? I moved here when I was 19 years old. So that was back in 2010. That's when I moved to the United States to start college. It wasn't my first time in America. I had visited a few times before, but it was my first time officially moving here to start my life as an adult. I started college in 2010. I went to a small liberal arts college in Indiana. I chose to go to Indiana because I had family there. I was able to live off campus with a relative and save a ton of money on room and board. I also got the best financial aid package overall, so it just made sense to go there. I remember the flight coming into the United States, right? I'm 19 years old. I get on a plane, British Airways or KLM, or I forget which airline it was specifically. When I came into the United States, there's a couple fun moments I like to remember. So I arrived at Dulles International Airport in DC. That's the airport I flew into from Nairobi, Kenya. I didn't feel any animosity towards me or any like, oh, black people, like no, like I didn't feel that at all. A lot of black people there, a lot of different people of color in an international airport. But I remember I get to the line to, you know, check in. When you arrive from an international destination, you have to, you know, present your passport and, you know, go through security in order to get into the country. So we're at the check-in point. I got my passport. I hand it to the TSA agent, who's a white man, checking out passports. And he opens up my passport and he sees all the Kenya, Tanzania stamps from traveling there. And it's a US passport too, so he probably thought I was just traveling there temporarily. He's like, oh, what were you up to in Tanzania and Kenya? I'm like, oh, I actually grew up there, you know, blah, blah, blah. We had a little chat. We didn't want to chat too long because there's people behind us. But then he says, well, welcome to the United States. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Like, oh. Anyway, it was a really nice experience going through that. Nice guy, nice TSA agent. Now keep in mind that in East Africa, you know, it's mostly black people, obviously. And so in my mind, if you're black, you probably know Swahili. Right? Swahili is the main language of Tanzania and Kenya, one of the main languages spoken there. And I speak it pretty fluently, conversationally at least. I'm probably not as good as I used to. I was in a store at Dulles Airport, right? I'm walking around, you know, kind of checking things out. I go into a store, like a gift shop or something, and there's a black clerk behind the counter. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, she probably speaks Swahili because, you know, black people all know Swahili. So I'm still new to the US and how there's sales tax attached to everything. I don't know, I was just confused about everything. I pull up an item or whatever and I start asking her in Swahili how much that item costs. I'm like, habari yako, hii kitu hapa, hii ni shilingi ngapi? That's Swahili for, hi, how are you? This item here, how much is it? And she looks at me like, sir, what? She was so confused. And I was confused too, because I'm like, did I not say it correctly? And then I realized, oh yes, I'm in America. Black people here only speak English. Mostly. It was just a funny moment. That was sort of one of my first moments that I realized, wow, I'm in America now. Yeah, America. My college experience it had its ups and downs, obviously. I wouldn't attribute any of the challenges I had to my skin color per se. One of the challenges I had was living off campus. I wasn't really, in the mix, right? I was kind of an outsider. My classmates didn't necessarily realize I was their classmate because I didn't live with them in the dorms. It was hard for me to sort of, being someone who lived overseas and was going through culture shock, it was really hard for me to realize how to fit in and how to sort of interact with everybody. But the college that I went to had they had various, student groups. They had a black student group, they had international student groups, they had diversity and inclusion policy. They were all about that. This was all very new to me. I had never thought about race relations or, racism as being an issue in that environment. I did lead a pretty sheltered life back in East Africa, or I would say I was in a bubble, and so I wasn't familiar with these types of conversations. I got to do a lot of cool things in college. Okay, I got to be part of the college television program. I got to make videos and movies in the classes I was in. I got to take theater classes. I was in a number of plays. I was in a few musicals. I was in a Shakespeare play. I got to do a lot of cool things, and I never felt that my skin color was something that was working against me, at least not in that environment. And I didn't perceive any of the professors or any of the policies to necessarily target me as a person of color. I never felt that my skin color was disadvantaging me. I never even thought about it that much. I was just like, I'm a person, I'm here. The work I put in is what I'll get out, right? Whatever success I have will be because I worked hard and made it happen. That's what happened. I graduated, I got my bachelor's degree, and then I essentially entered the workforce. I started working. I did a few odd jobs after college. I was living in Los Angeles after college at a reality television program, or working at a reality television program company in Los Angeles, and I was there for probably 8 months. I moved back to Indiana, looked for more jobs, did more work, and essentially I've been in the workforce, I guess, 6 years now since I've been out of school and working and making a living. I've never felt that my skin color has ever disadvantaged me. And I know that that's not the experience a lot of black people feel. A lot of people of color don't feel that way. And I can't speak for other black people. I can only speak for myself. I'm one person. I've been very blessed. I had 2 parents growing up. I was able to go to a nice school where I received the help and tools I needed to succeed. I was able to go to college. I was able to graduate with a bachelor's degree. I was able to use that degree to help me land a job in the corporate world of America. I have a pretty decent job now at a great company. I really don't know where I've been disadvantaged as a black person. People talk about you're less privileged or there's white privilege. I've made every effort I can to understand white privilege. I just don't see myself as oppressed or as targeted by a system. I feel like, if anything, this system has worked out wonderfully for me and for my life. I'm not by any means like, I didn't come from a rich family. I came from a 2-parent household family. So maybe in that sense, I was advantaged. Okay, I have had advantages. I've had a lot of help from people in my life, from parents to friends to teachers. I've received so much help, and probably more help than I deserve. Have I experienced racism? Yes, I have experienced racism. I've had people call me the N-word. Okay, I've had racial slurs thrown my way. It's happened to me. But I can't say that my skin color has held me back. I can't say that honestly. And again, that's not evidence that it's not real. It's just, I think that if we look at people as individuals and look at their individual life and look at how we can help everyone individually as members of our society, regardless of their race, let's do things that help everyone. That's just my perspective. I don't want anyone getting harassed or anyone getting profiled. I don't want anyone getting oppressed because of the color of their skin. I think that's disgusting. I don't think there's a law that can eradicate evil. I don't think there's a policy that can eradicate evil. I don't think laws or policies change what's in people's hearts, but they can prevent people from hurting us if we have them done correctly. So I hear a lot of stories from other black people and other people of color saying that when they're walking down the street, or when they're walking through a neighborhood, people look at them weird, or that they have to dress a certain way so that they don't come off intimidating, or that they have to do certain things in order not to get viewed badly. Have I walked down a street and had people like intimidated or look at me weirdly because I'm a big brown person? You know, probably. I don't know what's in people's hearts and minds. People could be staring at me because I'm good looking. I don't know. Maybe they like my style. All right. Maybe they just don't see a lot of brown people in their neighborhood and they're just like, ooh, that's a new person. And I think that's fine. Yeah, check me out. Check me out. No, and see that I'm just a regular guy. Maybe they are racist. Maybe they're looking at me saying, ooh, brown person, bad. I should have 911 on speed dial. Again, I don't know what's in people's hearts and minds. I try to give people the benefit of a doubt and only call out racism if it's like blatant, like if it's obvious. I try not to default to that if I don't have any other answers. And again, this is all just me. This is just my opinion. It's my perspective. Share your comments. What's your experience as a black person? What have you been through? Or even if you're a white person, I don't care. I want everyone, regardless of their skin color, to share with me what you think. I'd love to read your stories. I've never been serious for this long in one of my videos. If you're still watching to the end, then you're part of the Muffin Gang. Put Muffin Gang in the comments below. That way I'll know you watched this video to the end and that you're not racist. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. See you in the next video.